Hey, hey, hey. Look at who my guest is this evening. We are going to be sitting around the table tonight with Dr. Lorie Givins. So I want you to go right now and grab yourself whatever it is that you want to drink, whatever it is that you want to sip on while we sit around the table. Hey, I am your host this evening. I am Vision Coach Apostle Alicia George, and I am excited every Friday night. You all know I get excited whenever I have a very special guest on, and tonight is no different. So share the broadcast out so that someone else could come in and join us as we sit around the table. And we're going to have a good time tonight. I promise you, we're going to have a good time tonight, and we don't want to do it all by ourselves. So go ahead, share this out. Let your friends know that around the table is about to begin. And so that happens, let me bring my guest on in the room. Good evening.
Good evening. God bless you, Apostle Alicia.
God bless you, Dr. Givins. I am super excited. I anticipated this all week long, just waiting for you to come and join me around the table. I hope you have something to sip on, some water, some tea, something, because we're going to sit here and speak for about 40 minutes because, like everyone else, I want to pick your brain. I want to
Okay.
get to know everything about you that I can in this one setting. I'm so excited. And did you notice I didn't ask you for a bio?
I noticed you didn't. So,
I never do because I like my guests to tell the people what they want them to know about them. I don't want to
oh,
read a bio. So go ahead and let the people know exactly who you are.
all righty. Well, God bless you. I am honored to be here tonight. I am Dr. Lorie Givins, affectionately known as Lady G. I have been pastoring with my husband for the past 17 years at Word of Truth Community Worship Center. I also am the CEO and founder of a women's ministry called GWB Ministries, Godly Women Bonding. I wear many hats. I am an entrepreneur, I'm an author, and I just love the Lord. I don't apologize for the love that I have for God. I just finished my doctorate in September 9th. So,
Congratulations.
congratulations. And I have exciting news. I have entered into the PhD program, and I'm super excited to get started with that. My husband talked me into it. I know it's going to be a lot of work, but it
A
is
lot of work.
project driven. And so I am actually creating a department for the university. And so I've worked in human resources for over 25 years. I retired and I was an executive assistant. I worked in human resources as a human resources administrator. And so I just retired in 2020. I won't say just, but I haven't been retired that long. And so I just delved into other things. I am a tax consultant. I do jewelry. I just wear a lot of hats and I want to stay busy. And I have authored an anthology, which was my first one. And I'm working on my book now, which is going to be Wisdom for Women in Ministry. And so I'm just excited. I'm excited to be here. I'm excited what God is doing in my life right now. I finished my first broadcast for GWB Ministries on yesterday. So that will be airing soon. And so God is moving, and I'm just happy about it. And I'm excited that He's chose to use me.
Wow. You do wear many, many, many hats.
I do.
I love it. I had on my page, Lady G Jules. I also know that you're in ministry with your husband. I know that you do taxes, but all that other stuff I did not know, and that is why I love my guests to let the audience know who they are. Because if I try to read a bio, it does not tell everything about you. But listen, I'm super excited that you chose to come and sit with me here around the table this evening. And
Absolutely.
with that said, listen, let's get right into this. Because you have wear so many hats, I know that I brought you on here specifically to talk about your book. But
Yes,
before we go there, let's just talk a little bit about you said that you were a human resource
yes.
supervisor.
I was a human. Been a human resource administrator for over 20 years. I've worked for the City of Long Beach Fire Department. I've worked for Long Beach City College, and I retired from Memorial Care. Um, in their human resources department as an executive assistant. So I moved out of that area and moved into being an executive assistant for five of the VPs there. And so administration, when I first took my very first analysis actually for my spiritual gifts, administration was one of my top gifts. And I was so upset about it because I wanted to be the preacher, teacher, the communicator. And I talked to my teacher about it. And I was like, administrator, that's not what I wanted. He said, listen, he said, the administrator is at the helm of the ship. He said, so you basically are running everything. And when I received that and accepted that as my number one gift, it even made me work better in my secular life because I was like, oh, I was made for this. And so
I understand.
administration is my thing.
Yes, yes, that is awesome. God gives us exactly what we need, and He knows who He's called us to be. And with
Yes,
with that, it has given you the legs of so many other things because you've written an anthology, and now you're going to write your own book. You just graduated. I saw your graduation, and now
yes,
here you go. You're going to get your PhD. I'm
yes, I
telling you,
am.
it brings together what you're saying tonight, what we're going to talk about tonight. Women, we are stronger together because when we
Yes,
can support each other, I can lift you up because I'm so excited for you. You wore me out. Just
yes,
with all
yes,
the stuff that you're doing, I'm already worn out from that. But I can support you through it. So let's talk a little bit about we are stronger together. Women,
yes.
we are
So
stronger together.
we
Is
are
this
stronger together.
yeah, is this
And
book an anthology?
it is. It's an anthology. It's a group of 30 plus women that are um, telling their story, their testimonies to help other women. And the reason why this book was so close to my heart is because that's what my ministry is about. My ministry is Godly Women Bonding. And I started that ministry for women to minister to women because we never know when someone is hurting because we can dress up and we can put on our makeup and we can look good, but sometimes we're hurting and we minister hurt. And sometimes women just need a hug or someone that they can talk to that's gone through something that they're going through now that could help them. And so that's what GWB is about. It's about encouraging women to walk out their purpose, their God-given purpose in life. So Women We Are Stronger Together was so close to my heart. And in this book, my chapter is called Conversations That Destroy You. And the reason why I wrote that is because I started studying. I'm also a professor with Dr. Hope at Kingdom Leaders Institute. And so I taught a class on imposter syndrome. And as I was studying this, I realized that I was suffering from imposter syndrome. And so
Wow.
I went all the way back to what triggered my imposter syndrome. And sometimes we don't know that we're living with this. It is a debilitating, um, I won't say disease, but it is something that we deal with for high achievers. And we don't know how to accept our accomplishments. We don't know how to accept the acknowledgments of the things that we do. And we always think that we're not good enough. And
Yeah.
so when I started thinking back in this chapter, I talk about being in high school and how I wanted to be a cheerleader. But I went through all of the classes, I did the training, I did the exercises, I was ready to go to tryouts, and I talked myself out of it. So those conversations that I had with myself was destroying me along the way because I didn't show up for tryouts because I didn't think I was good enough. And I always thought that I didn't fit in. And sometimes, it even affects men. It's affect women. Michelle Obama has even admitted that she's dealt with imposter syndrome. So that's what my chapter is in the book, is talking about how this can affect you, and it can come from a spirit of rejection if we were children and we were latchkey kids. It can come
Yes.
from a spirit of fear, and so how these conversations you have with yourself can destroy you and debilitate you and keep you from moving forward.
Wow. Well, we're having a little bit of echo uh on your end. I just want you to try to adjust your instrument a little bit so we could see if
Okay.
we could clear that up. Hello, Dr. Angela House. Thank you for joining us tonight. I see you there, Tanya Nelson. Thank you for joining us tonight. If any of you have a question for Dr. Lorie, you can put it in the chat and I will get it to her. Listen, I know what it feels like. I actually was the captain of my cheerleaders team. And I would never forget when I decided to do it. I was so afraid. I was very outgoing in school, but within me there was this insecurity as well.
Yes.
And sometimes we mask these things so well that people don't always know what we're dealing with, imposter syndrome.
Yes.
And I'm glad that you've gotten over it because you've accomplished so much. Now, in the book, you said there were 30 women that wrote the book.
Yes.
Okay, when you wrote your chapter, how did you approach it?
Um, I actually thought of what I could tell someone that could encourage them to move forward. And I felt that giving my testimony about growing up and how, and not even just growing up, even into my adulthood, even when I became a first lady with my husband, it still was affecting me then, And so I've learned that when I'm feeling this way, I need to find the evidence. So we talk to ourselves and we say, oh, I'm not good enough or they're better than me. Where's the evidence? So you have to have the evidence to prove to you what you're saying, because the devil will lie to us in a minute and try and talk us out of doing anything. So I
Yes,
came
yes.
I came to that with the purpose of trying to encourage women that are struggling, knowing that they are good enough. You have the qualifications, you can do the job, you can do the job. Don't be afraid, go for it, because God will equip you for whatever He purposed you for.
Amen. Amen. And the title of the book is just so great. Women, we are stronger together. It took
Yeah.
30 of you to come together to make this one project happen. And if the women weren't strong enough, I'm sure there would have been a lot less ladies in the end, because sometimes when we start to work together as a unit and collaborate on certain things halfway through, women just sometimes we give up. But I'm sure there was a lot of encouragement, because for 30 women to write this book and do it with stick to itness, I know that there was that togetherness for you. Who is
Yes.
the visionary of the book?
Her name is Coach Tara, Tara Lee, actually, as we call her, Coach T. And she's actually a young girl that's starting out. She ran for Miss America, and so she's starting out in her ministry. And this was her vision. So she's been the visionary of this. And I tell you, I know the project was a lot of work because she brought us all together and we did a photo shoot. And it was just really nice, like you said, to see all the women come together and we were all supportive of one another. And then to be able to network with that group of women, to know that you have other women. There was women from all walks of life, women from all different kinds of businesses, to tell their testimony, and so it was really a great thing, especially during the book signing when all of us were there together and we were all talking and we were all passing out our cards and we were signing each other's books and things like that. So it was a great collaboration. So my hats is off to Dr. T for putting together such a great anthology and a great group of women.
Awesome. And so, how long did it take you all from beginning to end to do the book? When did you all start and when did you all finish?
I think it took us about 6 months because I
Okay.
believe I started with her in February last year in 2023. And from start to finish, because of course we had to, write our you had to decide whether you were going to write a whole chapter or if you're going to write just a little blurb. So I decided to do the whole chapter. And it's funny because I was like, oh, well, I don't have that much to say because it's like 1,500 words you had to write, and I was like, oh, I don't know if I can do that. But once I started writing and once I started pouring out, it started just coming. And then I had to shorten it. So it was longer than the 1,500 words. So I say about 6 months because we started in February and we actually had our book signing in November of 2023.
Awesome. Awesome. Listen, you are sitting around the table with myself. I am Apostle Alicia George, and my guest tonight is Dr. Lorie Givins, and we are speaking about her book that she has taken part in as an anthology. But she has so much going on that we're not going to just stay there. I want her to tell us a little bit tonight about the book that she is going to be writing. Can you give us some information about your book that you're going to be writing?
Absolutely. The book is called Women, actually Wisdom for Women in Ministry. And that also comes from my testimony as starting in ministry with my husband. I started in ministry. I've been in ministry all my life, but never really working in ministry. And I was praying to God. I said, Lord, I want to be more involved in ministry, and God has a sense of humor, especially if you don't pray for specific things. And so my prayer was just to be involved in ministry,
Yes.
and he sent me this pastor. And so I always tease my husband, and I'm like, you did this to me. I wasn't trying to be this involved in ministry. So it's just wisdom from the things that I've gone through to help women that are in ministry, women that want to start in ministry,
Yes.
first ladies, because I didn't know what a first lady was. I was raised Baptist. Um, and so I really didn't get into holiness until I met my husband. And so just seeing different things and trying to learn from what I saw, because I didn't have a mentor that came alongside of me and said, hey, this is what you're supposed to do. And so when I did get around some of the senior women in ministry, I asked them, I said, so what does a first lady do? What is the job of a first lady? And one of the ladies told me, she said, well, you're going to be the first one at church. You'll be the first one to clean up. You'll be the first one to empty the trash. You'll be and I was like, oh, wow. Okay. Well, I think I can do that because I'm doing that already. But just knowing that in that position, you have to have a tough skin. You have to also make sure that there are boundaries set. And so there's a lot of different things that I had to learn on my own, that I want to pass that wisdom off to others, especially women in ministry. And because I have an administrative background, when we started the ministry, I started the ministry as a business. And so many people said
Okay.
to me, ministry is not a business, it's ministry. And I'm like, no, from my perspective, it is a business. And so that's how we started running the ministry from the very beginning, was as a business. So there's a lot of things in ministry that people need to know, or women need to know, that you can set your ministry up as a business and run it that way. So there's a lot of different things that different views that I'm going to give in the book for wisdom. Also, how to carry yourself, what is expected of you as a woman in ministry. You have
Yes.
to have tact when you're speaking to people. You
Mhm.
have to have empathy when you're speaking to people. You have to have that caring heart. You have to be open. You need to lead by example, because people are going to watch you no matter what you're
No
doing, whether
matter
you're
what.
out trying to have a dinner with your husband, or whether you're, trying to videotape yourself on Facebook at home. They're going to have something to say. So you
Exactly.
need to,
Yeah, I can
know.
really, yeah, I can relate. I was a pastor's wife for 9 years.
Okay.
And so I can really relate, and I understand exactly how important this project is going to be, especially for those women who do not have mentors or don't have someone that they can have a discussion with when they first started. Because I remember when I first started, my whole goal was I'm not wearing a hat, I'm not sitting at a piano playing, I cannot sing. And so that is the what is a first lady. And then I discovered I am not going to sit here and be all of that. So, it is something that's very, very needed, necessary, and vital to the body of Christ when
Yes.
someone like yourself can share in a book that others can pick up and read and understand some guidelines and some principles about being a pastor's wife. And that
Yes.
really is great. I am excited about it. I'm looking forward for when it comes out that you can come back again around the table and we can talk about that. Listen,
Absolutely.
I want to just touch on one other area that you talked about, because I am very familiar with Impact Bible College, and you said that you do some work there. I mean, you do so many things. Oh, when do you have time for Lorie?
I actually live a very balanced life, believe it or not.
Okay, awesome.
It's really about time management, and I've had to learn that in order to get some things done. I tell you, I have to encourage myself a lot because sometimes I go in my office and I know all that I have to do and I get overwhelmed. And so I shut the door and I go sit down and I want to watch some ratchet TV, you know? So it's like, I have to always, and that's just how I am. I'm just so open. I let people know that I am human,
Yes,
I have struggles, and I struggle with myself, but I push myself. I'm not a person that just doesn't like to do anything. I'm a busybody. My husband says I'm nosy, but I'm a busybody, and so I always want to stay busy. So I do live a balanced life. We make sure Mondays is so important to me because that's my rest day. So on Mondays, if you decide to call me, unless it's very, very important, I'm going to look over at my phone and I'm going to be like, no, I'm not going to answer that right now because if I answer that, I'm going to get into a conversation. It's going to lead to something else.
yes,
So I, I have trained myself, especially being in human resources and an executive assistant. When I was supporting 5 VPs, they asked me the question, how are you going to support all of these people? What are you going to do? And I said, I'm going to get to know each individual as they are. I'm not going to try and have them work with Lorie the way Lorie is. Lorie's going to have to adapt to the way that they are. So that's how I adapt to all of the projects that I have. I give 100% to each project. I don't try and spread myself over all of the projects because you'll wear yourself out. So I
yes,
set time for my tax. I set time for my jewelry. I set time for my writing. I set time for my husband because he's my first ministry. And
amen.
so
Yes,
that lets me live that balanced life. And we try and have fun. We try and travel, and I let people know it's nothing wrong with having fun. You can have fun and still be in ministry or still be a first lady or a pastor. And
yes.
so I try and make sure that I have a balanced life.
Yes, yes. Let's see what some of our viewers are saying to us tonight. Let's bring them in this conversation. Hi, Lolita. How are you? Oh, hi, Lamika. How are you doing? Brenda, thank you all for joining. Let's see. Um, Lamika said that's the part for me. No hats. And Brenda says, I have enjoyed this interview with Dr. Lorie Givins. I must get both of your books. I received my book, Take Flight. Thank you so much.
Thank
Uh,
you.
but for getting the book, oh goodness. Um, Lamika, you are funny. She says, yes, the ratchet TV calms me down. Sometimes we just have to do things that we know works for us, our
Yes.
personalities, and what we need. Now, this is one of the things that I want to ask you about the book. Do you have the book with you by any chance?
I do, but I don't have it right in front of me. I don't
Okay,
know why I didn't put it right in front of me. That was not good.
that's okay. What I am going to do is I am going to spotlight my spotlight for tonight. And as I go and spotlight my spotlight for tonight, why don't you go and grab the book?
Okay, I'll do that.
Let me do my spotlight for tonight and you grab the book. Okay?
Okay.
Let's let's bring you, you know, when you're your own engineer sometimes. Here we go. Things kind of move away from you. So go ahead and grab it and come on back. It's okay. This is
Okay,
a
you want me to go now?
yeah, go right ahead. Tonight we spotlight Dr. Nikki Ziegler, who is a visibility coach. Dr. Ziegler is the founder of the Herpreneur Network International. It's a network created for Christian women in business. And Dr. Nikki um, has so much going on with this network. One of the things that I know that they do is for 7 days, every day, they do what is called a weapon room where there's women in prayer. They're getting ready to do a business summit come May in Houston, Texas. And so tonight we spotlight Dr. Nikki Ziegler, who is a visibility coach. So if you have a business and you need some visibility, go over to her Facebook page and look her up. She's also on Instagram. So tonight our spotlight is Dr. Nikki Ziegler. And we are back with Dr. Lorie Givins. You've got your book. I like people to show their book. Let me see. I'm trying to um read this comment and understand what she's saying. Okay. Brenda, you're saying take flight. I received my book, Take Flight, by today. That's my book. Okay. Okay. Yes. I wrote a book for entrepreneurs that's called Take Flight. And what this book is all about, it is because we need to understand our peak times of the day that we could produce work. Listen, I'm a parrot. I am a bird. I am a parrot entrepreneur because between 11 o'clock to 4 o'clock, I can pump out some work. I can get everything done. After that, I'm struggling. Before that, I'm flipping around doing stuff. But between 11 and 4 o'clock is my best peak time. And the book is called Take Flight Bird Entrepreneurs. So if you get the book, you could discover who you are. I think a dove is like 5 o'clock in the morning to 9 a.m. in the morning. They can pump out some work. After that, they have to find other things to do. So if you get my book, it's on Amazon right now. It's $1.99 for the what is that version?
The
I
ebook.
the ebook. $1.99 for the ebook, and then you can also get it now in paperback. It's available in paperback right now. So I'm excited about this book. I'm going to do a master class on it, and I'm going to do some other things with it. So thank you so much, Brenda, for buying the book. Coach Ann, thank you for helping me out. Ebook. I went blank for a second. So let's get back to my guest.
Absolutely.
Let's get back to my guest. Let's You love the cover? Thank you. Let's get back to my guest. It's all about her tonight. So, Dr. Givins, you have the book in hand. Let's see the cover.
I do. Can you see that? It's
Yes, we
Women We Are
see the
Better
cover.
Together. Let me see if
Women,
I can
we
get
are
it
better
in.
together. Yes. And why I wanted you to get the book is because I want you to tell me exactly. I know you said that there are 30 women that wrote the book. So, which means not everybody wrote a full chapter, correct? So,
That's correct.
it's okay. So, how many chapters is in the book?
So there are,
She's counting you all. so that she can make sure she gives us the right information, because we want to make sure. Oh, Lamika, thank you. She says, I love you both. We love you too. There's a whole lot of love going on here tonight.
Yeah, so there are 30 chapters in the book, but
There
everyone's
are 30.
chapter is not as long. So even
Okay.
if they only did like 600 words, they still have a chapter in the book.
Okay. And where is the book available?
So the book is available on Amazon. Right now it's on Amazon for $26.99. There's also an ebook on there as well for $3.99. I
Okay.
am offering a special that if you purchase the book from me for $30, you will get 4 pieces of jewelry and 20% off a tax return if you process your taxes with
I'm
me.
buying
So
the
that's my
book.
bundle.
I'm buying the book. I'm buying the book. Just, so now, how do we get the book from you?
So you can get the book from me. My Cash App is $Lady Lorie. That's LadyLorie. And all you have to do is put your name there and say bundle, book bundle. And then I will contact you and let you know. Or you can email me. My email is on the screen to ladygivins@gmail.com. You can
Yes.
email me and tell me that you want the bundle. That will probably be the best way, and then I can send you the information to get your address for mailing and then get your jewelry. You can have several ways to pick your jewelry. I do jewelry lives every Monday night at 9:30. You can pick
Okay.
your 4 pieces like that, or you can trust my judgment because I love jewelry and I can send you 4 pieces. And then you will also get a 20% discount on tax preparation if you decide to do tax preparation. I
Okay.
do tax preparation and bookkeeping for small business.
Okay. So it's $30. You get 4 pieces of jewelry and the book.
And
Does
20% off tax prep.
and 20% off tax break. What about shipping?
Shipping is included.
Listen, listen, listen. This is a deal to all of you that are viewing tonight. How can you pass that? I know I'm not going to. You can see I like jewelry and I
Okay.
love paparazzi jewelry. And so I am going to be a partaker of this special. Also, I'm going to roll it over into the tax area as well. And because I want everything that I can get.
Okay.
For supporting small businesses, number
Yes.
one. I am for supporting women, number two. And this book that we're discussing tonight is telling us just that. Women, we are stronger together. So when we work together with each other, when we are
Yes.
supportive of each other, we are stronger. So come on, inbox, Cash App, and email, and
Yes.
let's support this business. I am just so super excited every uh Friday night because I just like learning and seeing people win. God has created us to be winners. He has created us to prosper. He has created us for our gifts and our visions and our dreams to come to pass. He's created us so that we walk in purpose. And that's what this show is all about. It is a show that was created around the table for authors, coaches, speakers, on women entrepreneurs and small business owners, because I want everyone to be well-rounded that comes on the show and know that there's a place for them to sit around this table. And tonight, my guest has been fire tonight. I mean,
Thank
she
you.
she she wears so many different hats. I'm learning so many different things from her, and so can you. What I want you all to do tonight is take her up on what she has to offer. You can't beat this deal. The book, 4 pieces of jewelry, $30 includes your shipping, and plus tax time is a right around the corner, and you get 20%, you said,
Yes.
off.
Yes.
How can you go wrong? Dr. Givins, we are excited. We know you came on to promote your book, but we're getting all the goodies.
Okay.
that comes with that book. So I really appreciate that tonight. Listen, if you know someone that wants to write a book, what advice would you give them?
The advice I would give them is to search your heart. Pray about what God would have you to say, because we all have something inside of us that we can share. And sometimes we don't know, or we think that what we have is not worth it to anyone else. And so that's what this writing this chapter in this book, I'm just going to read some of the titles in here. It's one of them is I'm an Overcomer, facing difficult trials as a Christian, the rewards and struggles of a caregiver, listen to God's voice and obey, keeping your faith through the storms. So these are things that the women were talking about. So you have something inside. You just have to tap into what it is that you think God would have you to say to someone else. Testimony is the best thing. We say the word says that we are overcome by the words of our testimony and the blood of the Lamb. So your testimony is more powerful than you think. So tap into what you have inside of you and just start writing. Just write your thoughts and it'll start coming to you.
Yes, you. My next question was going to be: could you tell us a few chapters in the book, and could you read a place of your chapter, just a little
Okay.
bit of your chapter that you would like us to hear?
Okay. So I gave you some of the chapters. God is there for you always in life and death. A butterfly is not born with its beguiling beauty. I love that one because she's talking about how we turn into butterflies as we grow. In my chapter, I'm talking about, as I said, imposter syndrome, and I give you the ways of how you can overcome it. But what I'm going to read for you right now are some of the examples of imposter syndrome. Feeling like everyone around you knows what they are doing, but you don't. Feeling like you cannot do the job and you're not qualified. Feeling like you don't deserve the accolades that you receive, or feeling like, will I ever be good enough? They're all better than me. These
Mm,
are things, if you answered yes to at least two of those questions, you may suffer from imposter syndrome. And as I said, imposter syndrome is a condition of feeling anxious and not experiencing success internally, despite being a high achiever, despite having the qualifications, despite knowing what you're doing. Um, and the imposter syndrome was first introduced by psychologist Pauline Rose Clance, and she developed the concept originally termed imposter phenomenon. And it was done in 1978. They did a study on high achieving women. And in that study, that's when they found that these were, despite having outstanding academic and professional accomplishments, women who experience the imposter phenomenon persist in believing that they are not really as bright as others think that they are, and they're fooled into thinking otherwise. And that's why I always say it's the enemy that tells us those lies.
right. Yeah.
Famous women in Hollywood, such as Charlize Theron, Lady Gaga, Viola Davis, and business leaders Sheryl Sandberg, and Supreme Court Justice Sonia Sotomayor, and even Michelle Obama has all said that they have confessed that they have imposter syndrome and have suffered from that.
Well,
So it gives you detail of what imposter syndrome is. I've given you a testimony of how I've struggled with it and how I overcame it. So if you want to know the signs and how to overcome it, get the book. It will tell you.
yes, and there are two ways to get the book: directly from Dr. Givins and on Amazon. But
And on Amazon, yes.
if you get it from Dr. Givens, you get all those goodies, the jewelry and everything that she has to offer. Listen, let me just check the comments one more time
Okay.
and see. Hi, Shantae, how are you doing? Yes,
That's
she's
my
saying
girl.
imposter. That's your,
That's my girl.
yes, she says imposter syndrome is real And Kim, I see you said that imposter syndrome is a thief. Yes, it is. And we have to just really understand. So I'm excited. Please go and get the book and support this project of these 30 women that have written this book. And let's support Dr. Givins. It's how much again? 20.
It's $26.99 on Amazon or $3.99 for the ebook.
Right. And from you, it's $30, which
And for
includes
me, it's
a
$30, and it
bundle.
includes 4 pieces of jewelry and 20% off tax preparation.
Thank you. Listen, you have come to sit around the table with us tonight. My name is Apostle Alicia George, and I am a vision coach. I am always excited when someone decides to come and sit. And tonight, I am telling you, my guests have been fire. We want to just spotlight tonight one more time Dr. Nikki Ziegler, who is a visibility coach. Dr. Nikki helps you to show up and put your best game forward. Please find her on IG, Instagram, or find her on Facebook. Check her out. She will help you get into the spotlight. And so tonight, I just want to say thank you so very much for coming in, sitting, and being my guest, sharing all this goodies. Just raise the book one more time so they can see the beautiful cover that is on this book, so that we understand we women, we are stronger together. Let's grab each other's hands and lift each other up. God says that we are fearfully and wonderfully made. And when he said that about us, he knew that we were going to be Proverbs 31 women. And so
Yeah.
tonight, I just want to say thank you so much. Is there any last words that you would like to say before we leave tonight?
Well, thank you so much, Apostle Alicia. I am honored, as I said, to be on the show. And I've been watching you as well and following the things that you do. And I love the title of your book, Take Flight. It penetrated. And so I am definitely going to be purchasing my copy as well. I also want to let everyone know to save the date. I do have a GWB conference coming up in October of this year, and it is again for women to minister to women, but we've opened it up to the youth as well as the men this year. So I'm excited about that. So look forward to that information coming out. It'll be on my Facebook page when registration opens for us to start selling the tickets. So we're excited about that. The title is called My Voice Has Value, because all of our voices have value and we need to learn the value in our voice.
And which state and city are you in?
October 11th and 12th. So save that date.
And which city and state are you in?
It's going to be, I believe the location is going to be in Garden Grove this year.
Garden Grove, and that's California.
That's California.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you so very much for being my guest this evening. I look forward to getting your book, reading it, and really, I am giving each and every one of you that are on here tonight, you go get the book as well, so that we all can be stronger together. Thank you so very much for joining us. We are excited about what God is doing in the kingdom where women are concerned, that we are learning how to collaborate. We're learning how to be sister friends with each other and walking as one as God intends us to be. So until next Friday night, God bless, and we'll see you then.
God bless you all.